Hello, this is Dave Makun, also known as dmakun on Flickr and Teleneo at the Bronica users group. And I'm from Germany. Today I'm going to do a quick overview over the Zenza Bronica GS-1 system, which is the largest format system that Bronica has ever produced. And I'm doing this because I've been missing such a video on YouTube when I've been searching for the camera and the system itself. And today I'm using the brochure shown here because I don't have my camera with me right now. I'm going to do a review later probably. And I just want to show you what is available in the Bronica G system. The brochure is sometimes available on eBay, but the parts of the cameras are very hard to get. I had to wait for some parts that I had, but I started with a very big system that I bought for about 550 euros, and that should be between $650 or $700, I guess. So yeah, the GS-1 system consists of 8 lenses, but I'm not counting the PG 500mm lens down here. Let's zoom in a little bit. The system starts at 50mm up here, goes to 65mm, and then comes the lens which is not shown here, the PG 80mm lens. It's the last produced lens from Bronica for the GS-1, and that's why it's not shown here. That's a lens that I own. It's the only lens that I still own, and I'm going to show it in the review. Then there's the normal and most common lens, the 100mm lens. Then there's the macro Zenza PG 110 lens, which has a macro capability of 1 to 4 in full extension when I'm right. And then there's the 150mm lens, which is very suitable for portraits, as well as the PG 200 lens, 200mm lens, which is quite large, but it's not as large as the PG 250mm lens. Yeah, the Zenza PG 500mm, which is also shown with a dot here. This was a lens that probably existed, but it was only made on request by a customer and was very expensive when it was released. So I guess there aren't a lot of these lenses in the whole world. If you see some of these, tell me, and I'm very interested how the images are that this lens produces. Yeah, every lens comes with a lens hood except the 50mm lens. It's said that the 50mm lens does not need a lens hood due to its own very good performance. But there is something down here. In German it's called Compendium, and it also fits the 50mm lens as far as I know. For the Bronica GS-1 there's a Bellow and 2 extension rings for macro photography. I'll show you them here because here are some pictures of them. Here's the Bellow, and here are the rings. And I've seen some of these on eBay yet, but it's not easy to get them. So expect high prices if someone else finds them and wants them too. Yeah. Furthermore, the Bronica GS-1 system has 4 viewfinders, a prism finder with light metering, a prism finder without light metering, a waist level finder, and a rotary finder. You have to use these at eye level logically, and the waist level finder and the rotary finder can be used at waist level or very good on tripod. And the rotary finder makes sense when the image of the Bronica GS-1 or the whole camera is turned by 90 degrees. So you can still see a correct image of the picture, although the camera is turned. Here you see a drawing of the camera on the rotary adapter, which is shown here, and that's the rotary finder in normal position, and here when the image is turned by 90 degrees. For the Bronica GS-1, there were 6 types of magazines, each 102 and 120 or 220 film length, 6x7, 6x6, and 6x4.5. You can see them here, and there also has been a Polaroid back. Excuse me, I said magazine because it's called Magazin in German. It's a bag. There were 2 different generations of cameras. Let me show you this quickly. Here you see a black shutter button, which indicates that the camera is a newer camera. But you also are likely to find cameras with a silver shutter button on eBay or so, and these are probably the older cameras. Here you see the newer Polaroid back, which has this dial for light sensitivity, ISO, and the older Polaroid back has only a little switch here for choosing the ISO between 75 and 3000. These are the only 2 settings of the ISO, but I'll tell about the back when I'm doing the review. Then there has been a cable release for the camera. It's quite short, and I won't talk about it now. I also have it, and will mention it in the review. Then there is battery package, which was made for low temperatures, because the Zenza Bronica GS-1 seems not to operate correctly in low temperatures. So you carry the package near your body and keep the batteries warm, and by a wire the camera gets connected to the power supply. Yeah. Here is a hand grip for the Bronica GS-1. It's quite bulky in my opinion, but it makes handling a little easier with the camera, especially if you use one of the prism finders. And it's necessary to have if you want to use the speed light. It's the only flash for the Bronica GS-1 that was ever produced, and it supports through the lens light metering, so it might be interesting for flash photographers. Down here you see the rotary adapter, as I have already shown it over there, together with a rotary finder. It's just used to turn the camera by 90 degrees without shifting the axis of the lens. But I've had this thing, and apart from being not very useful because of its pretty large size, it was also not very precise, so the mid of the image did not stay the mid of the image, unfortunately. Two last things here are teleconverters to multiply the focal length by 1.4 or 2, and here is a focusing aid to keep focusing easy and precise. Of course, there is the body itself, but I'm going to talk about it in the review. And before I forget it, here are the 7 different screen types. I only have seen, let me guess, these 5, which are shown here. And yeah, if you have any questions, write it in the comment section, or write me a private message. Thanks for watching this video. I am very keen on getting feedback, because this was my first video, and maybe I can do the review a little bit different or better. Just give me a feedback. Thanks.